A metaphor is a type of figurative language in which the author equates one thing with that of something else. This sentence says, "The bird was an arrow arcing through the sky." Now here, the bird wasn't actually an arrow, but instead the author is saying the bird is like an arrow arcing through the sky. This is a way for the author to get to think about the bird in a different way and to equate it with an arrow and an arrow making an arc through the sky. This is a way for the author to describe the bird in more detail without being direct and obvious, because the author could say the bird swiftly flew through the air and bit through the air making a big arc. But that's not very interesting. That doesn't evoke emotion on the part of the reader. So instead, in this case, the author chose to use a metaphor, saying the bird was like an arrow arcing through the sky, and because of that, the reader can conclude that the bird must have flown swiftly and then bent through the sky, maybe going up and then coming back down. Now, sometimes authors use metaphors, but they don't directly tell you what they're talking about. Here, we knew that the author was talking about a bird, but look at this sentence. Swaying skeletons reached for the sky and groaned as the wind blew through them. Here, we don't know exactly what the author is talking about, but we can infer that the author is talking about trees, because it would make sense that trees would sway back and forth, and that maybe at this point it's in the winter and the trees don't have any limbs, so it's just like the skeleton of a tree and it's swaying back and forth. So that would make sense here, and so sometimes it's a little bit difficult to figure out exactly what the author is talking about. In this case, it wasn't, but nevertheless, this is another example of a metaphor where the author is comparing the trees to skeletons, and that allows the reader to look at the trees in a different perspective. Now we're thinking about trees as big skeletons swaying back and forth and groaning. And so that's a way for the author to give us a different perspective about these trees without being real direct and obvious. So just to review, a metaphor is a type of figurative language in which the author equates one thing to that of something else.
To find out more about how to ace your test and get more practice for your test, click the study guide. Learn why Mometrix is the best and smartest decision you can make for your test prep choice. We have done all the work cutting through the fluff to give you what you need to perform well on your exam. Click the study guide to get started now, and thank you for watching and learning with us.